Yeah, George Wilkinson. He was a character, mate. You know what I mean? He'd been bashed up by screws. The guy was on so much medication. You couldn't. He, his medication come in a little plastic mug about that much. You know, there's all stuff in it, like Gatrals and all them sorts of things, and Tripsosols, and he had all loads of pills that he had to take it, mate, because he was a raving lunatic. Big guy, if he went in it one, he was just smashed the whole wing up. Anyway, I'm in the television room. Micky Green, Tony Edlin are in the kitchen cooking dinner. They're cooking dinner for everybody upstairs, the Tibbses, Wally Bender, and a few other people that are playing cards. They're doing all the dinner, yeah? And when Micky Green done the dinner, he done the lot, like greens, carrots, cauliflower, peas, the lot. He took over the whole hot plate, what was in the kitchen. He took it over. No one minded, you know what I mean? So he just took it over. Well, George Wilkinson, I was in the television room, but I see George come out of his cell. He come out of a pot, yeah, and he had two eggs in the pot, and he wanted boiled eggs. He wanted to boil his eggs. So he went in the kitchen. There's only one kitchen in the whole C wing, yeah, on the ground floor. So he wanted to boil his eggs. So he had no chance of boiling his egg because Micky Green had the whole top of the oven, all the hot plate, all the the gas hobs, all there, all with saucepans and everything in it. Yeah. So George went in there, put water in his little bowl, in his little what's it called, his pot, and he's standing there. He can't make out why they took all that over and why, you know. Anyway, he's looking, and Tony Edlin and Micky Green then walked to the television room where things are cooking, yeah? So George, being George, he moves uh, a pot and puts his little one in there to boil his eggs. So he's there waiting for his water to boil, and all of a sudden Micky Green's walks in, see what he's doing, and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You can't move my stuff and put your stuff in. You can't do that. You got to ask me, yeah. And furthermore, you ain't getting it." So he pushed his stuff out and put his one back. And then Tony Edney walks in there, and George is like, "No, I want, like you can imagine, you know what I mean? No, I want to put mine in there." And this is what Tony's telling everybody. It's crazy. "I want to put mine in there," and all of a sudden he's screaming and shouting, and most of us come out of the television room, run across the landing to see him, yeah, see what he was doing, you know. And he's like, "Oh, I'm mine," and people go, "Oh, you know, anyway." And Micky Green says, "No, you can't just come in here and move the pots, you know, and get." And I just say, "Look, mate, you got like you got six pots there, mate, all full, all you know. Give him, just let him have one." He went, "No way, he just can't come in and bully and take our one off and put his one on like that." He's got asked. If you don't ask, well, you know, you just can't come in and do that. I suppose in a way it was right, you know. So Micky Green's put his back in. All of a sudden, George Wilkinson has gone absolutely mad. He has wiped the whole of the oven with his arm, just an old shirt on, mate, with his arm, the whole lot. He took the whole lot off, the whole lot. All the other pots, all the cabbages, the cauliflowers, the baked potatoes, the missed potatoes, anything that was there, he took it off, yeah? There was murders, mate. Everyone's going mad. The screws were running over. Uh, George just put his pot on as if nothing's happened. And Tony Edlin, Tony Edlin's so funny. Tony Edlin picked up this pan, this massive pan, and whacked George across the head. And there's George sitting on the floor with his head between his legs. He's knocked spark out. The screws are running in, want to know what's going on. You he just slipped over this, that, and the other, and they're screaming and shouting, you know. And anyway, he fell over. So they then took him into his cell, yeah. So they're all cooking the food for later, for later on when they dish it all up and everything. And the Scrooger called me, they called me into the cell. And as I walked in there, that George Wilkinson's got this big locker above his head, right? And he's going mad. He wants to go in the kitchen and smash everybody to pieces. He can't get out the door with a locker like that anyway. The lock, they got this big bow cells, bow ceiling, really high. He can't get out. He can't anyway. So Scrooge going mad. I walked in there, and there's poo all over the floor. His pot is full up with it. All his pills are everywhere. I thought, what a mess. You know what I mean? I said, look, I know. No matter what, I can't. This geezer, you got to help him. You know what I mean? It's a shame what's happened. So I told him to go in my cell. Yeah, he knows what my cell is because he's been here before. I said, look, George, don't smash my cell up. Don't smash my cell up. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't sit up there. Sit up there. Wait, I'll be up in a minute, and I'll have to clean up. And I cleaned his cell up, and I walked up, and he's sitting on. I had a sofa, not a sofa, an armchair, but I took out the officer's mess, yeah. And he's sitting there, and he's just like, he can't believe. There wasn't no tellies in them days. There wasn't no televisions in your cells. It was just radios. And, put the music, he's just sitting there. And this guy couldn't believe where he was sitting in my cell, like the way it was all done out nice, yeah. He went, can I stay? I can't love his heart. Can I stay in your cell, Ray? I said, of course you can, George. He went, can I sleep here? I said, no, you can't, George. You've got to go back to your own cell. No, I'm staying here. I went, George, you got to go back to your own cell, mate. You can't be staying in my cell. Anyway, cut a long story short, I picked him up, took him down to his cell, and I went into the kitchen, and I said to Micky Green, Mick, this didn't have to happen, you know what I mean? You could have given him one of them rings, yeah? And he went, no, mate, he's got a manners way. He just can't come in and move things. I said, yeah, but you got 6 to 8 rings, you know what I mean? He went, yeah, but he can't just move things, Ray. He's got to ask. I went, okay. I said, can I have one of the rings? He went, yeah. And I did put one of the rings in there, put a couple of eggs. I took 3 eggs out of my cell on a pot, went down there, boiled it up, and put the boiling hot water in the sink, cold water in the pot, and took it into George. And I thought, if I go in there with hot water, George is liable to come out and scold him, yeah? But he really shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been in Chelmsford prison, mate. He was sick, He was really sick. They moaned him up so much. They gave him so much medication. The geezer was so dangerous, yeah? So dangerous. He could have killed someone and not even know what he'd done it, yeah? But in the end, I said, what happened? They moved him out and they killed him, mate. They killed him. All he wanted to do was see his mum. And then when he eventually got to a place to see his mum, where he was in hospital, and his mum come to see him, but he didn't even recognise her. Where they'd given him so much stuff that he was a cabbage, mate, and he died in prison. They killed him, mate. And there's a book, yeah, you got to buy this book, yeah. It's called Fighting for Your Life, yeah. And it's a book about George, more or less. It's about people in prison that have committed suicide or been killed in prison, and it is what it is, fighting for your life, yeah. They're fighting because their life's going to be took whilst they're in prison, yeah. And George, they killed George, yeah. And, when I heard about it, and this, that, and the other, and then the book came out, Fighting for Your Life, And I only got the book when I was doing my book. When I started doing my book, someone gave me that book, Fighting for Your Life, yeah? Someone sent it to me, and I read it. I mean, I'm in it. 131549 Hill. I'm in it, but not too much. But I'm in it. Yeah. And I just like this book's about people that have been, been killed in prison by screws or whatever. But it was more about George than anybody. Yeah. Because George Wilkinson's story is sad, mate. It's sad that they killed him. Like, he just wanted to be with his mum. Yeah, he just wanted to be. I mean, why'd you send someone to Parkhurst and his mum's in Hull? His mum's really old. She couldn't travel, and all he had was his mum, and they shipped him to Parkhurst, and so he couldn't see his mum as punishment because George Morlake bashed some screws up, I think, in Hull. So he moved him out there to Parkhurst. And he was in the hospital wing there under what's his name, Cooper. I think it was Cooper's Troopers, they used to call him, or Hooper's Troopers. Like the guy, the nutty psychiatrist in Parkhurst, nutty as a cunt. They found him running around the woods in the Isle of Wight naked. And this was a guy who's nutting people off. This is the guy who was nutting people off. He was found running around the woods over at the Isle of Wight. This is what people have got to part with. But George, I just, when I found out he died, when they took him down the block, when he smashed the television up, he couldn't come back up in the wing. Even if I looked after him, he couldn't come back in the wing. They would have hurt him, George. They would have, he might have hurt a lot of people, but they would have maimed George, yeah, because he smashed the only television they had, and everybody liked to watch EastEnders and all that sort of thing. I think the EastEnders was on then. Everybody liked all that shit, and George just come in one night, I was in the gym, and just went in there, wanted something on, and one that smashing the television on the floor, and calls up was, mate. It was going to kill him, and if they didn't take him down to the chokey, they might have done. They might have killed him, cut his throat with a bit of glass, because you had some nuts in there. You know what I mean? And when they took him down the block, they thought he was dead then. Because they'd done something from the time they walked him down to the chokey, and they might have carried him down there. No one see it. I was in the kitchen. I was in the gym. No one see it. And when I got to the block to see him, to see if he was okay, they had him in a cell, which wasn't a padded cell. It was a padded cell, but it had mattresses in there, bed mattresses, loads of them in there. And he was in there, but he was in a bad way, mate. They smashed him. They battered him. They just smashed him. Whatever they smashed him with, they done a good job, mate. They battered him. And I asked the chief if he could come up on the wing, and the chief says no, he's going. He's moving tonight. He's going. And it's a shame. It's a shame. His story goes on. Fighting for your life. It goes on in the book. You got to get it. You got to get that book. I know I'm in it, but you got to get it as well. Fighting for your life. It's quite hard to get hold of now. But it would be because it's about people they've killed in prison, so it's going to be hard to get hold of. You know what I mean? Anyway, bang bang roll. Nice one.